Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kings of Fantasy Football. I'm your co-host Pablo, and here's my co-host.
Leo.
So, on today's episode, we are going to discuss some free agency winners and losers with respect to fantasy perspective. So, right now, free agency is in full display before this upcoming 2025 NFL season. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I think from a fantasy perspective, again, we're talking about, big names. I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals. They have re-signed their two-star wideouts. They've also re-signed their tight end, Mike Gesicki, who to me, he wasn't super consistent, but he had his flashes. So I think, with those three guys, they've also re-signed some offensive linemen. Got some help on the defensive end, even though they lost some defensive help. But of course, everyone cares about points. So offensive wise, I think that offense should not lose a step. I think, especially if the defense is going to be a repeat of last year, Joe Burrow's going to end up throwing the ball, 50 times a game, like he was last year. Um, I don't know what else you can say because again, you draft Burrow, Chase, Higgins, you can even throw in Gesicki, and you're probably going to be happy. Assuming they have a repeat of last year. Leo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that they have a definitely that offense has a recipe for being top notch, top notch next year, the season for sure. That bringing Higgins back. Most of us thought that there was like no way they were gonna have the money to pay Chase and him, but they made it happen. Um, the one thing, like you said, the defense is going to be crappy, which is ends up being a good thing for them too because they're going to have to keep throwing and scoring. So definitely that's going to be an offense to you wanna draft for sure. Chase, I think, secures himself as probably the number one pick overall in PPR leagues. And Burrow and Higgins are also going to be high up there in the in their positions of being picked as well.
Yeah, I think Higgins definitely going to go higher than he was going last year. Only concern with him is, he missed a few games last year, but when he was in the lineup, he was doing well. He even had some games where he was better than his teammate. Um, Now let's kind of talk about another winner in my perspective. I just think the moves they've been making have been really well. I kind of wish my hometown Houston Texans were making the moves that this team has been making so far, and I'm gonna go with the Bears. The Bears got some really good offensive linemen to protect their rookie quarterback, um, and they have a high draft pick this year. So we'll talk about the draft as we get closer to it, but if they were to somehow end up with either another receiver, top tackle, a top offensive lineman, or what everyone's been kind of salivating of the thought of is getting, a top running back. You already have good receivers. If you're now upgraded your offensive line, and if you were to get, a good running back, that offense on paper looks scary. Um, So my thoughts again from everything they've been doing so far, that GM and that staff have made some really good signings. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what kind of probably held them back a little bit last year. It felt like Caleb Williams didn't have time to operate back there. So now, with their them beefing up the offensive line is only going to help them for sure. And then with new head coach in town, Ben Johnson, he's a offensive guru there, so that should definitely help this offense get it going. Hopefully they pick up another offensive weapon. The we can definitely see Odunze coming on this year, especially with Keenan Allen gone, and DJ Moore is always a stud when he has a chance. So with Keenan on going to another team, definitely these two guys are going to be high priority in Caleb's target share, and Cole Kmet too. He's a definitely tight end, top tight end, top 10 tight end that he should be able to be available later in drafts for you as well.
Yeah, so I mean, if these moves work, I think those position players like you were mentioning, DJ Moore, hopefully Keenan kind of comes back. Odunze should be better, and then who knows who will end up drafting. Now let's kind of switch subjects and kind of pick some losers. First one that I think is kind of obvious, but I'm gonna pick on them just because all the experts have been picking on them, and that's gonna be the Dallas Cowboys. I thought they were going to make a splash, especially after all the turmoil of last season. They ended up signing CD and Dak. Even after the season started. So I didn't think they would want a repeat of last year and again make a big splash. And to me, they haven't made one. They've got some running back help, running back depth, but I haven't again seen like that big star signing that the Cowboys need. Honestly, they missed the playoffs after having a couple of years of 12-win seasons. There's still controversy on if they're gonna keep some to keep the what's his name, the linebacker.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, they don't know if they're gonna sign Micah. So, especially from a fantasy perspective, besides CD and Prescott, I would not want to have any other player from the Cowboys on my team besides those two. What do you think?
No, for sure. The Jerry Jones, he's at it again. With his hijinks. Mister, he should just take the owner and let someone else run the team. To me, he's been holding them back a lot. I have no idea why. He does this to himself. CD needs some help. Obviously he's gonna be a top 5 pick again in fantasy, and and I'm gonna draft him. Maybe if I have a chance as well. But after that, the offensive line has been deteriorating year after year. As they've been losing guys, and when you pay Dak a lot and when you pay CD a lot, it's and if you don't manage it properly, it's you're gonna get in trouble. So they need to right the ship. Hopefully they can. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I know you're not as well. So hopefully they get it together. Not it is what it is. But definitely CD. I'll still draft him for sure. He's gonna be high priority in everyone's draft. Let's see what they do in the draft. Maybe they finally draft a receiver in the first round, but knowing them, they'll get some linemen or something.
Right. Who knows? Maybe they're saving all their big splashes for draft day. Now this next team, I feel sorry for the fans just because they've kind of been used to success the last 5 years or so, and I've kind of been shocked that they kind of broke up the team, to be honest. And that's the 49ers. The 49ers, you lost Debo. You lost a lot of players um, from, again, your team that you've had as far as your core. We don't know what's going to happen with McCaffrey. Don't know if what the receiving room is going to look like. To me, they have gotten worse than what they were last year for sure. So from a fantasy perspective, I don't even know who I would draft. Brock Purdy didn't look like himself last year. Don't know what's going to happen with CMC. Don't even know again what that wide receiver room's going to look like. They have signed one wide receiver. They signed a tight end, but no big names. So to me, they're losers just because again they've lost a lot of people so far.
Yeah,
What do you think?
as a 49er fan, yeah, I've been disappointed with their off season. Definitely, we know the Debo Samuel deal was coming. They tried to trade him last year, stuck with him one more year, and now he's gone for a bag of chips and some peanuts. So, um, you know, what can we say? What who knows what's gonna happen with Brandon Ayuk? When is he gonna be ready? He's recovering from an ACL injury that he suffered last year, and there's still, there hasn't been much talk of when he'll be ready. They also traded away Jordan Mason, which was a excellent insurance policy for McCaffrey when McCaffrey was out. Um, that I think he moved to a good team, with the Vikings. They have a great offensive line, and they've been deteriorating. Now, no, I think they kind of, I think the 49ers are kind of seeing that they were getting old fast. You know, McCaffrey's already getting to his last years. Debo, he's already, around that 30-year mark, and and he gets hurt. I understand why they traded him. It would have been nice if they could have got someone else. They already started I think the process of getting younger by drafting Ricky Pearsall last year. He was gonna be a nice sleeper in the to draft later in drafts, and Jawan Jennings, he had a breakout year last year as well. So maybe they're banking on these guys to come back. And Purdy, he's always solid. So we'll see. It's they're definitely losers because they've lost a couple of anchors on their team last year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, like I said, don't know what's gonna happen tonight. You lost Debo. McCaffrey's getting old. Totally forgot about losing Mason. So it's gonna be a whole new 49ers for sure. And again, I
Yeah.
just feel bad for the fans because they were used to, that success pretty much every year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Isaac Garendo season this year.
Now, this next team, I don't know if you can for sure say winners, but the moves they're making, to me is kind of trending towards that. And that's going to be the Washington Commanders. So the Commanders are, I don't know if you want to call it like an all-in this year, but they went and got Debo. So him and Terry, as the 1-2. Um, they also got some backup as far as the depth in the wide receivers. They re-signed Noah Brown, re-signed KJ, and they went and got Gallup. Re-signed Ertz and Bates. But they went to go get some offensive linemen. One of them was Larry Tunsil from the Texans. They got another one, Trent Scott, that they re-signed. So they were one win away from going to the Super Bowl last year. And I think especially they're kind of doing what the Texans did is what they did last year is their rookie quarterback and Jaden Daniels still on that rookie contract. So they're like, you know what? Let's go see if we can get those missing pieces, make another run. Again, I'm not saying that for sure it's going to be winners, but I think all the moves that they're making is makes them winners so far. What do you think?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, the 49ers loss is the Commanders gain. Uh, Debo is an excellent player that you can put him in the backfield, you could put him wide and slot all over the place, and he's definitely a player that they're gonna use, especially in Kingsbury's offense. That he's very innovative. So I think that's gonna be definitely a good move for them. You just hopefully he stays healthy. That's always the key with him. But yeah, they're definitely going in. When you got that rookie contract with Jaden Daniels, you gotta go all in with that opportunity. Because he's have a small contract before he wants to get he wants to get paid in that second contract. So yeah, they have to do what they have to do. So I'm definitely intrigued with that team. I think they're gonna make some moves. They did re-sign Zach Ertz, like you said. He was very solid last year, for them. And while they have a rookie he's gonna be a second year now. Ben Sanat, that he was there. But Ertz, I think he's gonna have to probably wait one more year, with Ertz there. Um, cause like I said, he is a solid player that can provide always roughly 10 fantasy points, for your tight end position. So definitely an intriguing team, and I think definitely more on the winner side than definitely losers for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know Jaden's going to go much higher than he did last year. People are going to, draft him high, thinking that he's going to do the same thing that he did this rookie season. Like I said, the Niners' loss is the Commanders' gain. And man, shout out to Dan Quinn and Kingsbury, because Dan Quinn first year, Kingsbury of course got fired from Arizona job. It's like it didn't even phase him because that offense was kicking. This next team, I don't know if we can call them winners. Let's kind of call them like a maybe winners.
Lukewarm.
And that's gonna be the Steelers, just because to me, Metcalf, really good receiver. You pair him with George Pickens, but what hurts them to me is they lost Justin Fields. So unless whoever's going to be behind center is just going to be like, well, one of the two receivers is down there, so I'm just going to throw it up. But I think this is probably the most excited that the Steelers fans have kind of been looking forward to a season the last few years. Mike Tomlin's still, doing great as far as head coach. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Metcalf was not going to end up with the Steelers, and that's where he ended up with. Um, you think he'll get drafted higher? Because I think he's the number one. You're not gonna pay him all that money and not make him the number one.
Yeah, he's the number one there. Obviously who takes a big hit here is George Pickens. That I thought he had a potential to gain some traction. Like he showed some promises last year, but then he got injured, and then at the end of the last year he was really uh non-existent for fantasy managers. But the key in this offense is definitely see they need a quarterback. You can have all these weapons, but if you have no one throwing them the ball, it's it's uh it's useless. So one thing that I've been hearing is that Aaron Rodgers is the one like the leading candidate to go here. If he does go here, then this definitely look good. Even though Aaron Rodgers is in the last legs of his tenure, he's he's still good. Somewhat. He's definitely more accurate than Justin Fields and just right there with Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson does have some is pretty accurate. But I like to see, if he goes there, that helps this being a winner. Right now, to me, like I said, they're kind of neutral there. They added some pieces. They lost Najee Harris now. Now it's the Jalen Warren show for now. We'll see if they pick up some running backs in this deep rookie running back class in the NFL draft. So Jalen Warren's gonna be a nice pickup there, especially in PPR leagues. He's shown some promises there when he's been given the chance, but definitely the question mark is just that quarterback position. I want to see what they do there, because I know they signed Mason Rudolph, but we're talking about Mason Rudolph here, man. He's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's a mist. He's a mystique.
Um, Now before we wrap things up, do you have like a dark horse team maybe so far in free agency?
The team that I think they did really good and bringing back one of their top players. He was on the verge of leaving, but they made it happen, and that was the Buccaneers. By bringing back Chris Godwin. That to me, this team's been on the rise ever since they brought Baker Mayfield, and with Godwin there last year, they were cooking on all cylinders. But when he went down there, they were able to keep steady. And but bringing him back, so now they got Godwin, Evans, Jalen McMillan was making some strides last year. Odin is a awesome tight end. Up and coming right tight end, and Bucky on behind the line with running the ball. So, and they still have Rashad White. So, like I said, and even Sean uh, Tucker
Is it?
there. Sorry,
Okay.
the other running back. So they're loaded there on offense, and bringing Godwin back, I think, makes them winners just by bringing him back. Because to me, I know he's coming back from an injury, but prior to that injury, he was leading the league in receptions. He was like probably wide receiver one prior to the injury with all the receptions he was getting. He was a PPR gold mine. So I think that's a definitely awesome move. Them bringing them back.
I like that. The other thing that's crazy is Baker Mayfield has had a new offensive coordinator for like 9 years straight.
That's nuts.
So,
And he just gets it done.
so yeah, right. So like maybe he's coordinator proof. Maybe it's just that revitalization of his career since he got to Tampa. But I'm rooting for them, man. Especially fantasy perspective, like I said, Chris Godwin, um, Evans. He may not be flashy, but he's consistent, still getting 1,000 yards every year.
Yeah.
I know people are gonna be salivating at Bucky this year. So we'll see. I like that as a dark horse team.
Another team too that I kind of like as well, really quick, is that the Raiders. The Raiders they needed a quarterback. They brought especially for Brock Bowers. So they traded for Geno Smith. So it's intriguing. What they do. I think they still need another piece or two, but at least Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers should be on the rise in rookie, not rookie. I'm sorry, in fantasy drafts this year. So something to look at there too.
I honestly thought that since they hired Pete Carroll, that it was gonna be the Las Vegas Seahawks because you got Gino right, and I was like, okay, well if DK goes,
DK, yeah,
would have been good. Hopefully Pete can kind of turn things around. So we'll see.
we'll see. Yep.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please like the show, give us a follow. We're available on all major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. If you have questions, you can reach me on X. That would be at ArchReaper, ARCHREAPR. Leo, where can they reach you?
Yeah, if you guys have any fantasy football questions, dynasty questions, you can reach me on X at Smooth1074.
All right. Again, give us a follow, share with everyone, and then stay tuned. We getting ready for NFL draft and some other episodes gearing up since training camp and all that's around the corner. So you'll be hearing more of us pretty soon. Again, thanks everyone.
Peace.